Hello, hello, fellow Nigerians, and good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be. I throw a salute. Let me also include pidgin English into the matter. If this is a live show, if you are out there and you want to join, you want to weigh in into this conversation, please do. You can do so via the chat room. And what the topic or the discussion for this very moment is in regards or in respect to the Nigerian Constitution, which I have heard a lot about, so I took it upon myself to bring this thing out into the open for a public to the layman. Let me just put it that way, and not necessarily to everyone, but to the layman who wants to know what the Constitution is all about. Now, most of us are familiar or aware of
Most of us
of
are familiar or aware
hold on 1 second, please.
of
uh, we are familiar with the statement that knowledge is power, and that there is no way we can claim to have knowledge of something without reading that thing or knowing what it contains. Secondly, we are also familiar with the statement that says, "Do not judge a book by its cover only. You need to read it." There'll be so many comments on the 1999 Constitution, and to the extent that some people, including those in the legal world, claim that the Constitution, 1999 Constitution to be specific, is a fraud. And without giving exactly what they meant or what they mean by this, the Constitution, how it constitutes to be a fraud. Because when you say a constitution that which most of us understand or know the definition of what a constitution is, when you now claim that it is a fraud, you should be able to defend what you mean by that. So is the document itself a fraud, or the people who are supposed to uphold and implement what is contained in the document, are they the ones that are fraudsters or acting fraudulently? Now, the Constitution, it's one thing to say it on the first value. It's another thing to now get a full interpretation from it, and to get an interpretation of the Constitution, you now need legal experts or those who are in the field of law to be able to give interpretation to the Constitution. Now, I will only be looking at it from a face value, from what I have read, and I believe some of you also must have read part of the Constitution or the Constitution itself. And you will agree with me with this statement I'm about to make, that if anyone is making the claim that the Constitution is a fraud or a fraudulent document, they need to state specifically what exactly they are talking about and how it constitutes as a fraud. Is there something inside the book itself that should not be there, or is there something that should be there that is not there? Now, this argument has been going on for for a very long time now. And I look at it from two angles, respect to those who claim that the Constitution is a fraud. One is either they're trying to discourage Nigerians from reading the Constitution themselves. So, which is very possible because, like I said, I've had someone who make this claim that the Constitution is a fraud. And the question is, have you read the Constitution? And he said, no, he has never read the Constitution, just that it is a fraud because the people were not, Nigerians were not consulted when this Constitution was being written. Well, let's say that is a fair argument, but does that makes it a fraud? Particularly something you yourself have not read, you now arrive to that conclusion that it's a fraud just because somebody said it is a fraud. What if the person who said it's a fraud changes his mind tomorrow and say, oh no, it is no longer a fraud? Is it the same way you will just go according to the tide, or you just go with the flow without having your own knowledge of the book itself and what it says? So these are very important things we have to put into perspective. This is the part one of the Constitution, and by the special grace of God, I will be able to. We'll go into it maybe page by page or chapter by chapter, looking at it on the face value, and where interpretation can be gotten, I will get an interpretation to explain further on the Constitution. But before you come to that point of condemning anything, first you need to first of all get to know what that thing is. I repeat again, as stated earlier, you don't judge a book by its cover. Now, another question will be that the state of the nation today, of Nigeria to be precise, is the Constitution responsible, for example, for me to give you bribe or to take bribe? Is the Constitution responsible for me to be dishonest with you? Is the Constitution responsible for the university that are on strike that has been on strike for, I think, over 6 months or over the years? Is the Constitution responsible? These are all things we have to look at in the box and outside the box. So we need to know exactly what and who is responsible for the problem plaguing Nigeria today. You must also understand that in the Constitution, there's also the duties of the citizen. And this means we have to look inward, which I just explained, if we also are keeping to that aspect of the Constitution. Now, I must state for the record that I am not saying everything in the Constitution is what is right. However, like what Peter Obi rightly said, he said when he becomes a president, he will look at the Constitution and review it all over again. And where it needs to be amended in accordance with what the people wishes, then it will be amended. Everything is subject to review. This is a Constitution. It is subject to review. That does not mean the Constitution is a fraudulent document. We have to be careful. The use of words, it's important when it comes to to issue of Constitution and when it comes to courts, because words have been used in court and people have lost cases because of misuse of words. And if the Constitution is a fraud or a fraudulent document as claimed by many or by those who claim it's a fraudulent document, that means every argument that has been made in the court of law using the Constitution can be judged to be null and void. This will also mean the candidate, Peter Obi, who went to court to seek for interpretation of the Constitution in respect to his impeachment, and he won. If we hold on to this argument, that means his governorship time and everything he has claimed so far can be considered as illegitimate, null, and void. So we have to be careful on use of words when it comes to what to issue of either constitution or anything at all. Clarification and interpretation also matters in this regard. Like I said, again, this is part one of this program, just laying a foundation of what of the constitution. So if we all take our time, should take our time, get a copy of what of the 1999 Constitution with Amendment 2011, and take our time to what to read it. It's easily understood. You can understand it. The only thing is the interpretation. For we now to get interpretation, we now need to seek the expert, or we now need to seek a lawyer's advice on that interpretation to weigh into what each of the sections and subsections for explanation. But that being said, it does not mean that either you or I cannot or should not get ourselves bring ourselves up to speed or up to date in respect to the Nigerian Constitution. Please, it is very important, because the issue of ignorance, we've passed that stage of ignorance. We're moving into a new era, particularly this 2020 general election coming. It's very important, because we can't afford to do things anyhow anymore, because doing things anyhow and not speaking out, though some have spoken out and some are speaking out now, has brought us into the situation that we are today. I majorly fear of what is going to happen to me. Something is going to happen to me if I speak out. Well, whether you speak out or not, something is definitely going to happen. So it is better for one to speak out and deal with matters appropriately. Is the Constitution, 1999 Nigerian Constitution, a fraudulent document? It's up to you. If you want to join this discussion next time, please don't fail to come on the show. And in the comment section, you can always weigh into this matter. I'm going to read everything out, and where clarification is needed in respect to any comments made, put in the comment section. I will call it out so that you can clarify further, so that we can understand what you're saying and questions that are being asked. And for any question that is asked that I'm not able to provide an answer, be rest assured, in the next program, answer will be provided. It is to educate one another. We're not to condemn anybody, to educate one another and bring ourselves up to speed, because the citizens also have a responsibility. We've always shifted responsibility to the leaders, to our leaders. Yes, Nigeria have issue of leadership, without a shadow of that. But the citizens equally also have responsibility too. And we must not shy away from this responsibility, or else it will come back to bite us. I'll be here again in part 2 of this program, by the special grace of God, next week, God willing, and to go to delve further, deeper into the 1999 Constitution, and to actually see if you think it is a fraudulent document. Please, we will appreciate you come to this platform and point out exactly why you hold on to such claim, or what is in the Constitution that should not be there, and what should be there that is not there. Please, I hope you will join me next time on this program. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.